All right, nation. I'm really big on productivity, team unity, everybody beating to the same drum, or everybody playing on the same page and singing from the same hymnal type of stuff. Now, DeMarcus Lawrence, he came out and said in 2019, of course, he got his bag, he got his paper, he got his bread, he got all of the things that we wanted out of DeMarcus Lawrence. Shout out to the D-Laws for making their paper and getting that bread. Nevertheless, we got to talk about this distracted and divided culture that he had last year in 2019. One can argue this right here. DeMarcus Lawrence, after 2018 and 17, people said, hey, this guy's the next best thing since sliced bread outside of a Khalil Mack. He's bringing in pressure. He putting quarterbacks on their back. He's talking to Norris and he's backing it up. We saw all of those things. Now, I will say this. Do not sully and denigrate him for having a poo-poo season last year, because all offseason he didn't get a chance to work out, move weight around, work out against the opposition as relates to offensive linemen. And all he saw last year within the confines of the season is D-Law versus 2-3 man at time. So what I'm trying to collect with you guys, a rhyme of reason here, the reason why he had only 5 sacks. Nevertheless, do not sneeze on his production as relates to, dare I say, stopping the run. Now, where do we go from here? He said that there's a lot of distractions last year. And the locker room, basically. That's the only way I can look at it. The locker room being divided. I want to know divided of what? Because he didn't get a chance to go into details. He didn't get a chance to elaborate for us. Nevertheless, I think that DeMarcus Lawrence, he is a Pro Bowler. He was a guy, or is a guy, that demands, hey, you're going to respect me when I'm coming across that line, or I'm going to punch you in your mouth. Now, we didn't have the win ratio that we wanted, right? That's what I want to say. We didn't have that last year, but we did get a chance to get to the ball, and we were able to make some things happen. But let's listen then to what they have to say.
All right, you signed a long-term deal in 2019 with the Cowboys, but in 2018, you had to play under the franchise tag. What was that pressure like, playing a year under the franchise tag?
Oh, yeah. Just looking back on it, I felt like it was a lot of pressure. Just going into the season, knowing like you only have 1 year left to prove yourself, and you don't know where you're going to be the next season. But it is also a blast for me to find myself and really bet on myself and understand that I have more in the tank to give.
What advice would you give Dak Prescott if he's forced to play this coming year under a franchise tag? Do you think it could impact his performance?
I really don't have no advice, for another man. I mean, he has to make his own decision. I think he has some good leadership counsel in his corner. So I feel like he'll do the right thing and, he'll get paid.
All right, so they asked him a question. What advice do you have for Dak Prescott as it relates to playing on a franchise tag? Should he play on a franchise tag? Should he look back at this thing and say, nah? And D-Law gave them the best answer, the right answer. And to me personally, you shouldn't always swabble in another man's money anyway, especially he's your contemporary. He's on the same team as you. And I like the fact that he answered the question straight up and said, hey, he got his advice or his counsel to counsel him. There's no need for me to chime in. It's not my business. It's not my cup of tea to speak in on another man's money. I like that.
Well, what happened to the Cowboys last season? We see the talent on the roster, obviously including yourself, but then not making the playoffs, 8-8 record. What happened to the Cowboys?
Yeah, I really think this all comes down to knowing who you are and just focusing on, what's in front of you. Had so many obstacles come our way, and, it kind of divided us as a team. And we worrying about this or other things around us instead of worrying about, sticking to our job and sticking with the coach and, finding a way to win. So I feel like we didn't capitalize on a lot of opportunities we had to win.
Now, he's saying being divided, you was worried about this and didn't capitalize on that. I want to know what he's talking about. What is he's lamenting over here? I can say this, Cowboy Nation. When you start doubting, man, it's contagious. It trickles down to everybody. And when you think that somebody trying to do a certain brand deal or somebody's playing for money and not all the way in, then you have these doubts to sneak in. And fear and doubt are related no matter how you look at it. And I'm thinking about this right here, Cowboy Nation. I think the D-Law was on to something. Being divided. Are you playing for coach? Being distracted. Do we get this money or do we pick up this player? Who will be the head coach for next year? I'm telling people now, this team, in order to be on the same page with each other, they need to figure out how they can overcome the distraction. You're going to have it out here in Big D. Let me repeat, you're going to have it out here in Big D. Down here in Dallas land, you got an owner who loves to be in the camera, loves the spotlight, despises being quiet, you know. That's just what Jerry Wayne does. It never, ever will change. It is what makes him go. It what makes him tick. And trust me, he made it to the Hall of Fame. See, a lot of people think that in 2000 and 2005 and 2010 and 2015 that we were in misery. Jerry been in all types of glorious and glories of the glories. Why you say that, Law? Well, although we have not been winning or going to the deep end of the playoff, Jerry himself entered into the Hall of Fame, got $1 billion stadium, not just $1 billion, $3.5 billion to be exact, stadium built, and then got a $2.5 billion, somewhere around that number, workout facility built. So he's been eating off the fat of the land, and we just been taking the blunts and the blows, you know. That's just how it goes as fans. And people been laughing at us, and we have not done anything. Nevertheless, I do see changes. I do see us heading in the right direction. But let's listen to more what they have to say.
You, DeMarcus Lawrence, you had 25 combined sacks last 2 years. And then last year, only 5 sacks. So I've been there before. I understand it. But I want to hear from you. What happened to you last year?
I mean, really nothing that happened to me last year. I know I finished the season with 5 sacks, you know, but I also, you know, helped other players, you know, boost their numbers back up to double digits. So it's not a one-man game, and I know how to, you know, play the game the right way. I know how to, you know, make plays when the plays come to my way, and I also know how to make sure my teammates are making their plays when it's their opportunity. So trust me, you ain't got to worry about nothing. The sack number will be back up.
It's more than just sacks. That said, they do count sacks, and they count it more than any other category. So this offseason, being a bounce-back offseason, how are you preparing? Anything different?
I mean, right now, you know, during this quarantine, I've really been, you know, focusing on, you know, my faith, my family, and football. You never can, you know, knock a man for, you know, getting another opportunity or one opportunity. And I mean, like Alden was also always, you know, a good defensive lineman. So, I mean, I don't think you forget that type of intensity or how to rush.
Yeah, true indeed. They asked D-Law, you know, after the question, what have you been focusing on this offseason? Of course, during this terrible and crazy time that we are living in, yes, family comes first, you know. So shout out to the D-Laws, man, working with his family. And he will have a bounce back year. I think that he's been in the weight room, even though it's within the confines of his home. He doing something that he was not able to do last year. And that's at least moving some weight around and getting around. So my thing is the distraction part of it and the quote unquote divided part of it. I think that this team will find a way to remove all of those things. I think that Rob Davis, Coach Mike McCarthy, Tom Sula, Mike Nolan, with the newness out there, we'll figure out a way, Cowboy Nation. I really do. I just have a feeling, a gumption, a hope that these guys are going to gel everything together. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how you guys feel of everything. Do you guys feel that D-Law will turn the corner, get more than 5 sacks? Although it's not about the sacks all the time. It's all about stopping the run and creating pressure. But do you guys think that he will be north of that number? And I look at it from these things. I think that the way that this team is built and the philosophy that we have now on this front four, I think that McCoy can win his one-on-ones. I think that Poe will be able to win his one-on-ones. And you sprinkle in the Gallimore. I think that he's going to do something. I don't know about Tristan Hill. I just don't know. But hopefully he can turn the corner, and coaches coach. Coaches elevate, so hopefully they can find something and extract that good stuff out of him and put it out there on the field and shoo away the bad stuff. Maybe he can become hungry. And on the opposing side of D-Law, maybe a Dorrance Armstrong can step it up. Maybe a Bradley Anai. Or maybe it can be one of those guys like Randy Gregory. Whenever the NFL reinstate him, and, of course, Alden Smith. Don't sleep on Jalen Jelks. You know, I'm just throwing out all of the names. Joe Jackson as well. Look, this team is still sharpen steel, iron sharpen iron. So we will see how this team will formulate. And I just want to say, the divided culture and the distraction, I think that is all done away now. I think that it is. Let me know how you guys feel. Post me your thoughts and your concerns down below. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.